What's up, Liverpool fans? Welcome back to Yanks of the Kop. We are here, season review show. As always, we're your hosts, Steve, Andrew, Wahomie. And for the season review show, we had to bring on a special guest. We got Dave, LFC's chats. Dave, thanks for joining us, mate. How you doing?
Absolutely fantastic. I can't wait for this show. I have a beer in my hand. It's Saturday night. Chelsea have just won the Champions League, and I'm happy.
Steven, before we get going, intro video. I love that thing, man. I love that thing.
Gets me going every time.
You guys are going to have to make one of them for my channel. I love it, baby. That is beautiful.
That's all Sophie. Credit to her.
That's all Sophie.
I'm going to DM her straight after this.
Genius. Oh, it was absolutely great. Absolutely great. And Wahomie, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm just loving the fact that City bottled the Champions League. They're not going to win the Champions League anytime soon. That Pep's been exposed again. Once again, he spent over £1 billion gross, bought the Champions League. I feel happy. So, yeah, I'm ready to go.
So all of you in the chat, Steven and I are in Florida. I came to visit him for his 30th birthday this weekend. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. And we just got back from the beach, so we actually missed this game today. So I don't know if Dave and Wahomie just want to start with like a quick rundown of what happened and what you guys thought of the game. Did Chelsea deserve it? Just a quick 2 minutes.
Yeah, go ahead, Wahomie.
Yeah, from what I saw of the game, I think Chelsea definitely deserved it. City only had one shot on target up until the 60th, 70th minute. They were absolutely abysmal the whole game. Chelsea should have been, Werner missed at least 2 big chances before Havertz even scored, where he should have put them up 2-0. They also had a good chance from Pulisic in the second half, where I think he should have done a bit better to get it to. So that scoreline should have been at least 2-3-0 more for Chelsea.
Really?
We're poor.
Yeah.
We're poor the whole game.
I heard who's your man of the match? I heard Conte had quite the performance.
Yeah,
I think it was outstanding. Yeah. Conte or Havertz, I thought they were very good.
Havertz, really?
Yeah. Very good.
Wow.
Yeah. Chelsea deserved it. They deserved it. I mean, City were. I think it was the wrong team he picked from the start. It was a wrong team he started, and even a lot of the fans, I've seen it on Twitter. I have a friend who's a big City fan channel. He didn't know what was going on when he seen the team coming out. It looked wrong to me, the way they were set up. Chelsea have a great record against City recently. Mm-hmm. They knocked them out of the FA Cup. They beat them in the league. They've done a few things in the past few seasons against them. So even though I'd City as favourites, just because of the fact Pep was actually growing hair in this. He was actually growing hair. He had a mop of hair at the end of it. He was so pressured. So for me, I think that's a huge loss. And as I said to Wahomie earlier, they're never going to get a better chance. I mean, nope. The Champions League was all over the shop this year, and it won't be the same next year. I think there's that chance gone. Pep's chance gone, basically, for City.
Yeah, let's look at the chat real quick. Stephen Somerville said City bottling Europe again. It's always good to see. Chris Welch, thanks for joining us as always. Mark Flanagan, I don't think we've seen Mark before. Thank you very much. But thank you for joining the channel. I really appreciate you hopping on. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. But Chris Welch went and said, well done, Chelsea, well deserved. Win. City did nothing. That's credit to Chelsea. Tuchel does a number on Pep again. Yeah, there's a little bit of history with that too. So good job to Tuchel. I mean, happy for him that he was able to make the Champions League final last year, lost to Bayern Munich, made it back this year, and won. I guess German managers tend to do that. Jurgen Klopp did the same thing. Alan, thanks for joining us in the chat as always. Chris Welch saying Wahomie's winding up Man City fans up on Twitter. I haven't seen any of Wahomie's tweets, but I'm not very surprised.
No, I don't know. I just put a tweet saying I put a photo of Trent with the Champions League title. The only true generation of playing the Premiership with the Champions League at 21. And the whole time, the media were going on about Foden in the final 21, going to win the Champions League. And then I'll put another one of Alisson winning the trophy, saying my goalkeeper puts in man of match performances in the final. My goalkeeper bottles it.
When you look at the Champions League, the last 3 seasons, we won it in 19 with Klopp. Bayern Munich won it in 20, and Tuchel's won it in 21. That's your German. Right through.
Yep.
Yeah,
German
Alan
influence.
saying looking for Bernardo Silva to cry. Definitely, man. I would love to see that. Yeah, Chris Welch. Pep's always overthinking the big games. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Seamus saying well done to Chelsea. Mick, thanks for joining us in the chat, man. Welcome back. 924 million euros spent. 0 Champions League titles. Absolutely glorious. I completely agree with you on that one. Demir saying that Pizda, hello. I'm not really sure what that means, but greetings, my friend. Seamus saying that my nephew's a Chelsea fan. He is happy tonight. That's always good. And Steven Stubbs joined the chat. Good evening, sir.
Steve Stubbs, love you, mate. But yeah, let's get enough talking about Blues. Anyone blue? Done with that. Let's now shift the attention to Liverpool and why we're here. Season review show. Obviously, I think we can all agree that we are happy that this show is over now. I mean, that the season's over now. I mean, up and down season. Never thought I would celebrate third place as much as I did at the end when we clinched it this past weekend. And I think before we get into everything else, that's the point I want to make first is, and Chris Welch, you probably agree with me here. I mean, we do not celebrate mediocrity by any means as Liverpool supporters, but the fact that after everything that went wrong this season, we were able to get third place is quite the accomplishment. And going forwards now, that's not going to be good enough. It's champions or bust for me anyway. Andrew, I want to get your opinion on that as well. Again, I don't think any other season we'd celebrate being in third place, but you got to admit after everything that went wrong to finish in third is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I think it was crazy that, we started off the season pretty damn hot. We started off right where we left off of the last season, and I thought the team looked really, really good. Obviously, then we had some big injuries going down. I think a lot of people forget we were in first place at the turn of the year. We were still in first place. I think City had a game in hand, but we still controlled the top seed. And from there, it was just a strange season because obviously the amount of injuries for one. But I think we've learned that Klopp made some mistakes with the center backs. He probably should have trusted Phillips and Williams, or who else was in there? Anyway, Phillips and Williams for sure. And instead of trying to put Henderson and Fabinho back there, we saw in the last 10 games of the season how essential Fabinho is to that midfield, because we've won. I think we went undefeated throughout those 10 games. So I think that we've learned a lot as fans about this team. We've learned. I think Klopp definitely learned a lot, that maybe he should just trust his players a little more and go with people who are in their natural position. I mean, Fabinho, I think, did a great job. Hendo did a great job for what they could do, but their presence was missed in the midfield, and that ultimately enabled us to kind of drop down into, I think it was 8th seed at one point, 7th or 8th seed. Yeah. So I think it was a lot of learning this season. I'm glad that we got third place for sure. That was an amazing comeback. Allison's header is definitely the headliner of the season, but I'm looking forward to next season, because we're going to have a lot of competition in that midfield, a lot of competition as the center backs, and even up front if we sign another forward. So I think it's going to be huge. I think we're going to be challenging for the title again, and definitely going to be challenging for the Champions League. We have a lot to prove. After this past season.
Damn right. And Wahome, one day, kind of go over to you here. I mean, again, up and down season, but what were your overall thoughts, just on how the season progressed and obviously how we closed it out so strong?
Overall, I thought with everything that happened against us, with all the VAR decisions, the injuries, the disruption in the season due to COVID, to finish third, I think is a unbelievable achievement with the amount of injuries we had. So I think, I said before that, I don't think any other manager in the league could have done what Klopp's done with all the injuries he's had in every position. I think that's what makes him special. Overall, yeah, obviously there were times this season's been really frustrating, where we felt, top four's gone, especially, after the Newcastle Leeds game, I thought top four was gone. I had given up. And then obviously we had that door open to us by Arsenal when they beat Chelsea. So, obviously that kind of gave us the impetus, if we went into the Man United game and won that, then we top four was back on. But yeah, I think it was frustrating, you know, overall because, you know, I do think like mistakes were made. Like I do think obviously when you look at it back in hindsight, we should have bought a centre back in the summer. We should have just been like, Lovren's gone, let's not replace him, let's stick with what we got. I think that was a mistake. And I think as well, we should have acted quicker. Like when January deadline hit the window, we should have had a centre back coming in straight away then. Not waiting until the end of February to get Kabak and Davies in, which I think was actually detrimental to us because we played some big games during that period. I think we lost to City. We had to play Henderson and Fabinho at centre back.
Yep.
And then we lost to Leicester. Although Kabak was there for the Leicester game, we lost then. But if we got a centre back in 1st of January, then it could have given them more bedding time so that mistakes that you saw in the Leicester game doesn't happen. So yeah, it was frustrating there. Otherwise, who knows what could have been if we had as well trusted Phillips or Wilson earlier on in the season and actually trusting. Because maybe I'm not saying we would have won the league, but maybe we could have pushed City even further, and maybe we could have had more to show for it in that sense. Because I definitely think we could have finished second, if we had played those players further. Because I think we're better than Man United.
We're only 5 behind United at the end of the season. 5 points.
Yeah. So, and we conceded less goals than them. So I think if we had done that, we could have finished higher. And then maybe as well, we would have seen. We were seeing Thiago, the best of him earlier on, because I think it was only when Fabinho went in there next to him, we started seeing Thiago good. Before that, when we were having to play Fabinho at centre back and Thiago, we didn't see the best of him. That wasn't his game. So I think we would have seen maybe more things if we had done that earlier. But overall, you can't really complain. To come back from potentially no Champions League football, facing Europa League conference, which would have killed all of us, then being a Champions League. So for me that's amazing. So I can't sit back and complain when I look at the season overall. The fact we got it in the end.
Yeah. Well, what about you, Dave? High level, what do you think of the season? How much hair did you lose? Number one.
What?
As I don't know about you, I lost a lot of hair.
Look at this. This isn't bad for 48, baby. This is real.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what it is. This is the thing for me. I mean, the season can be split into three zones, I suppose. If you go back to August at start of the season, it was us and City, wasn't it? Everybody making videos about it. You can check all our own videos. It was us and City for the league. One of them was going to win it. We just won the league. One of us is going to win it. But I think to finish third, guys, let's be real. I more or less wrote us off after the Newcastle the 1-1, that late 94th, 98th minute, whatever it was. I did a video after. I was down after it. I have to say, I admit, I thought we were looking the barrel, and I thought we were looking at Thursday night football, boys. And that Thursday night football is not nice. It is not nice. It's a Mickey Mouse Cup. I don't care what anybody says. And if you start making a conference league out of it, it's even extra Mickey Mouse. Right. It's like Disneyland Florida and Disneyland Paris. 2 Mickey Mouse places. But which one do you want to go to? I don't know. But you know what I mean? So, and the other thing about it is, we finished ahead of the European champions, Chelsea. So just to think about it like that, go back 3-4 weeks, even say before the West Brom game, obviously, Alisson, that's the goal of the season for me. There's no doubt about it. That is the goal. Because that's the goal that basically, I think, just pushed us to get to third place and get into the top 4. That goal doesn't go in. We're in the Europa, baby. It's all over. But as I say, the start of the season, we actually were okay. We did okay up until, say, late August in the Everton game. We all know what happened in that. Thiago and Van Dijk all went downhill from that. But it didn't go right downhill. I knew it was going to be a problem going forward. So I was hoping we could get to January where we'd make the right decisions and bring in a centre-half or bring in players that I thought we'd need, which obviously we didn't really address the issue. We were top of Christmas, and then the wheels came off because I think the boys were being asked to do so much. They were just being asked to do too much. The 2 or 3 seasons before had taken it out, and the batteries were low anyway, I think, going into the season. I thought, because we didn't do enough in the transfer window last year. So we were hoping we could do something in January. We didn't recharge the batteries, and the wheels came off in January and February and March. Yep. And it's unbelievable. I think it's one of Klopp's best seasons as a Liverpool manager, to be fair, and we didn't win anything. It's one of his best. It has to be.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think he even made that point as well. I think he even said that if we make top fours, it's one of the best seasons I've ever had as a manager.
Yeah,
which is
unbelievable.
I don't think you can shy away from that. But again, like we said to start, like now it's no excuses going forwards now. But kind of thinking back to the start of the season, there was a lot of talk in the summer leading up to the season about needing a big window, and it took us a long time to do anything. I think our first signing was Kostas Tsimikas. At the start, I think that was close to the start of the window, and then we didn't bring in Jota and Thiago until the very end. Like they didn't have a preseason with us. I mean, Andrew, what were your thoughts originally on that window when it was all said and done? Because I remember throughout the entire summer, all we were hearing from a lot of Twitter accounts was how pissed they were with nothing happening, all this stuff, and then we finally brought in Thiago and Jota, the guys that we wanted. What did you think of that summer window? Did you think that was enough, to start the season off?
I mean, I actually thought it was, to be honest. I remember looking back and, once we got Tsimikas, I was like, okay, great. And then I was praying for more people to come in, especially in the midfield and up front. And so I thought we were pretty settled at the back. We had Matip, we had Gomez, and we had Van Dijk. And then we always knew that Fabinho could slot in there if absolutely necessary. And the season before, Van Dijk didn't miss a game. I don't think Gomez missed many games either. So I wasn't too worried about the center back position. Clearly, Klopp and FSG weren't either. So when Thiago and Jota came in, I thought that was phenomenal news, especially after everybody was, given their rumblings about FSG and not bringing anybody in. And, there's a pandemic going on. We have no money. So it was just great that Michael Edwards and his team were able to get the deal done for a world-class player like Thiago and for somebody who's going to be a world-class player in Diogo Jota. But obviously, in hindsight, they probably should have replaced Dejan Lovren with somebody rather than Fabinho because, like I said about the season, and I think Chris Welch said it here, he said, funny what happened when we played players in their natural positions. I couldn't believe it. I thought, like, when you play someone like Fabinho, I know he has center back experience, but even like Henderson at center back, they don't have the natural instincts that a natural center back would have. And you saw that it was clear as day when he started playing Reece Williams and Nat Phillips in there. And even when they got Kabak playing, it was just like a night and day change. So that I think that I was just kind of saying this about the season. I think that Klopp learned a lot this season. Yeah. And I think that next season we're going to be challenging for the title. So I think that this season we've already gotten that center back that we've needed. And now hopefully we can sign another attacker after maybe Shaqiri and Origi get out. Best to them if they do leave. And then maybe another midfielder because I think we're definitely going to need somebody to replace Gini. So I think if we can have 3 to 4 players similar to last summer window, then I think we're be in really good shape to challenge City and Chelsea for the title.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, when I think about that window last summer, I loved who we brought in. The issue that I had, and again, same thing with the January window, was the timing of them. Took Thiago too long to get that deal done. And then the Jota deal again, like at the end, like they didn't have time to practice with us. They didn't have time to train with us leading up to it. And then obviously Thiago got COVID, I think, at the start of the season as well. So I think that was the biggest issue for me is like, I want to see Liverpool, especially this summer window, try and get business done sooner. Because I think if we had those guys integrated with the squad to start the season, that would have helped us a lot. And I think even in those first 7 games when we started 7-0, we were squeaking out wins and we did not look like champions or anything like that. And obviously I think, Genie, I think even made it Genie 20 in the chat here makes a good point. Like, we were definitely impacted by fans, maybe more than anybody else, but we were not winning convincingly to start the season. Like we did not look good before Thiago and Van Dijk got injured against Everton. And I also think that if we had Thiago and Jota at the start of preseason and had them being main guys for us to start the season, that would have been huge. But homie, I know you were passionate about, and you said it at the start on this podcast, you said that it could potentially hurt us that we did not find the Lovren replacement. And obviously that came to fruition. But I mean, what did you think at the first 7 games and also just, how those guys started those new signings that we have?
Yeah, after the transfer window, I felt that we didn't do enough in terms of, centre-back had to be signed. I thought like, although Lovren wasn't amazing, it didn't make sense to me to sell him and not replace him. Like if we were, not going to get a centre back, we might just get Lovren because he's not amazing, but at least extra body there. But I thought like going into the season, we always knew Gomez gets an impact injury every year. We know Matic's made of glass as a top player as he is. So then realistically, we were going in that season with Van Dijk, the only fit one that you can guarantee, or having played Fabinho. And you don't want Fabinho at centre back. Fabinho's the best, other than Kante, Fabinho's in the top 2 defensive midfielders in the world. So you don't want him at centre back, regardless if he can play there. And you don't want to be going into a season seeing as Fabinho as a centre back option. You only needs to be in the middle. So it was a bit risky. And then obviously in this first couple of games, I think Liverpool sometimes always start slow because even in our title season win, we had a lot of 1-0 wins when we started off the season. We always start slow. It takes us a while to start playing good football and looking good. We never come out of the blocks really playing amazing football. So it's always like a game where it surprises you. So obviously we had that Leeds game and we looked really shaky against Leeds. Even though we won 4-3, we looked shaky. We should have comfortably saw that game out because I think there was a point when we went in like 3-2 up and we needed that extra goal to kill it off because there was that danger that Leeds would still come back. So there was that. And obviously we got 2 good wins against Chelsea and Arsenal. We beat Arsenal 3-1. I think we beat Chelsea 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. So we got some good wins there. But then obviously it came to the Villa game. So that kind of like rocked us because no one expected us to have that kind of performance. Obviously Adrian being in goal, we knew that was going to be shaky, and it wasn't great when Adrian just kicked the ball to no one. I think it was the first goal, wasn't it? Just kicked the ball to no one.
It was the first goal.
Just put us under complete pressure. So it was, I thought because obviously when Van Dijk got injured in the Everton game, and we'll probably talk about that a bit more in more detail, but I still felt we could win the league. Because I thought Gomez and Matip was still good enough for us to go on and win the league. And I still felt that at that point. And I thought we could galvanize around the team, and win it for Van Dijk. But I think that for that period, it was a shock, some of the results we saw, I wonder if Van Dijk had stayed fit after the Villa game, how we would have performed. It would still have been a bit rocky a couple of games after because something wasn't right in that Villa game, So, I know obviously Villa scored 3 goals that reflected, but it didn't. Again, it felt something was off in that game completely in terms of our style of play, in terms of our pressing. Because there was in a bit where people are saying, obviously, why are you playing this high line all the time? It's so easy for teams to get behind us because it's high line. But then obviously, maybe in the second half of the season, no one actually played with the high line. We still played a high line with Phillips and Williams or Phillips and Cadmack, but you don't really. It wasn't a massive issue. But so it was kind of like thinking that we could still actually, we still were getting more points because City had a slow start. So I was thinking that we were still in a good position, but there were some cracks that were there that were a bit worrying.
Yeah, do you agree with that, Dave? Because I think he's spot on with that. It seemed. I mean, again, we know how hard it is to defend the Premier League title after you win it. No one does it, and Liverpool now the second team in the last decade to finish in the top 4 after winning the Premier League. City's the only other team that's done it. So I wanted to get your thoughts on that, Dave. Did you think even though we started with 7-0, that we weren't the same team? And then I also want you to kick off just that Everton match with when that really just started spinning our season out of control.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I just want to say one thing as well before I go on to a rant. Klopp, for me, this season has been a huge learning curve for the whole club, the group, the players, even FSG, to be fair. Everyone's made mistakes. Yeah. But for me, Klopp's like the teacher or the professor in the class, and all the classmates are there sitting down, looking at Klopp, looking for direction. Most of them don't do their homework. And they're going to flunk or fail their exam at the end of the year. But this group of players have all got degrees and all passed their exams this year and can look forward to a nice, relaxing summer because They've done, they were bottom of the class at one stage. There was no way we were getting top 4 guys. It just wasn't happening. It wasn't on the cards. And Klopp somehow, with those players, has pulled it out, and they've all got their degrees. I'm hoping those degrees and mines and bachelors, whatever they got, H-dips, can all go into a big transfer window this summer with FSG, and I think it will be. But back to the Everton game. What a disaster of a game. And people forget we should have won that game. Henderson had a great chance. Remember the goal that was disallowed?
That was a goal.
Offside?
That was a goal.
I know it was a goal. I mean, we could have won the game. We would have took a little bit of the bruising off. But the fact we didn't even win the bloody game. I mean, it was just... Listen, it was an assault. We all know Pickford. Pickford was an assault, as we know, on... Exactly. Tyrannosaurus Rex. That was definitely, that was Jurassic Park stuff. But anyway, Thiago, the injury, Thiago, I mean, that was Richarlison, I think it was. He got a red for it, didn't he?
Yeah.
But that was just I think that was the defining game of the whole season for me. That was the big game. You lose 2 of the big players in your spine. You're basically losing 2 discs in your spine. You can't even stand up again after that. That's how bad it is. Yeah. So the spine is gone. But as you said, we actually did pick ourselves up fairly well. I thought, and we did okay till Christmas. And then when it came into the new year, which I was dreaming we'd get to January in a good position, and we did get there, but we just didn't. We didn't take the 2 discs of the spine and put 2 bloody discs in that were available to play, 2 proper starting 11 discs, and he didn't trust Phillips and Reece Williams. It's as simple as that. That's why he played Fabinho, and that's why he played Henderson. He didn't trust them. He just didn't think they were ready. But we all know now, Phillips has more or less made a hero of himself. I still think Reece Williams isn't ready, to be honest. He's only 19. I mean, he wouldn't have been there only because of circumstance. Same with Phillips. They just wouldn't have been there. They wouldn't have been anywhere near there. But those 2 boys, especially Phillips, has shown in the last, say, 10, 15 games, and we wouldn't be getting top 3 without those 2 boys. And those 2 boys deserve all the credit. I mean, Phillips is up there in top 3, 4 players of the season for me. Because the United game, 4-2, away at Old Trafford, he scores an own goal at one of the worst grounds. United Liverpool's the game. Let's put it there. It is. It always is for me. It's just the way it is. It's the rivalry. He scores an own goal, then doesn't drop the head. This is the game for me for Phillips. Doesn't drop the head, gets involved with the Jota goal. I know it wasn't exactly a pass, but hits it cross. Jota flicks it in, then clears off the line. Just head gets better and better and better as the game goes on, and then after that, just got better and better right to the end of the season. Yeah. That for me was absolutely brilliant.
Oh,
and that's why Phillips, Thierry unreal, baby.
So good. Well, and that's the thing too, right? Go ahead, Andrew. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off.
I was going to say, I just want to get to the chat real quick if you want to finish your
No, go ahead.
All right, so I was just going to go to the chat real quick. Mark Flanagan brought up a really, really good point earlier. He said, we will see the best of Thiago and Hendo and Fabinho with Van Dijk behind him. I think that was massive. I think Holmes said it in his comments earlier. But Thiago was when he finally came back from injury. Henderson, I think, was injured, and Fabinho was slotted back into midfield. So he was playing with Gini, and he was just playing out of position. So we never really get to see the Thiago that we signed until those last 10 games of the season when Fabinho was finally relieved of his center back duties and ended up going into the midfield. So I think Mark brings up a really good point there. Chris Welch had a great comment here. Wahomie friendship with Upamecano is over. He's now got posters of Kanate on his wall. Wahomie, can you confirm? Can you give us a 360 view of your room right now? And can you confirm Kanate picture on your wall?
I get posters.
Helen joining the chat. Evening, guys and gals. Helen, thank you so much.
Birthday! Happy birthday to Helen Raybould.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thanks for joining us, Helen, for your birthday. Appreciate that.
Birthday.
Steven Stubbs said the key is getting these transfers over the line early, and that way Klopp's a full preseason with the players. Steven, you were just kind of mentioning this about last season. Also, 7 weeks off for some players is huge. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. That's a great point, Steve. Chris, again, said that we were too reliant on Fabinho being that center back replacement for Lovren. That was talked about at the beginning of the season. Yeah, no, exactly. And then let's see here. Bring Suarez back. Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to happen, man. I think his wages might be a little too high, and I think he likes La Liga too much, to be honest. Helen said that reminds me of Terry Butcher, that Phillips. I'm not sure who Terry Butcher is. Dave, who's Terry Butcher?
Yeah, he was an England centre-half way back in the 80s, and he played on from an injury, and the white headband he had was covered in blood. Drenched in blood from it. And that's back in the 80s when men were real men. Let's be real here.
Hey, Nat Phillips is a real man. Nat Phillips is a real man.
He's an 80s type of guy. That's what I'm saying.
Classic English football. But yeah, Steven, I think you said you wanted to go. What were you going to say before I went off?
Well, first, I just want to shout out Iman Kelly. Thanks for coming in here. First time. We appreciate it. And any of the first timers, we appreciate you all. We're going to be doing some awesome giveaways this summer. So make sure you like and subscribe so you can be part of it. Let your friends know. Have awesome guests like Dave, for instance, always coming on here giving us some laughs. So we really appreciate you guys checking us out. But the next thing I wanted to talk about was Dave's point and the fact that Phillips and Williams kind of saved our season, right? And it's crazy to think that, like what homie said, like on this podcast, we were like, we can still go out and win the league without Van Dijk and Thiago coming back midway through the year. We felt great about that. I remember we beat Atalanta 5-0, and we're just like, oh, like we got this, no problem. Then all of a sudden, Gomez goes down, and then Jota goes down in the meaningless Midtjylland, and it seemed like that's when everything started unraveling. The moment we pulled Fabinho out of the number 6 and put him at center back, regardless, he was so good at center back. But you can just tell the entire team with that point just went out of whack. So, like, well, homie, I want to go over to you on this. Like, we've talked about the Midtjylland game all the time, but, like, let's talk about your feelings when, again, we go from beating Atalanta 5-0, and then all of a sudden Gomez goes down. Matip's never really healthy. And then the Jota one where he's just absolutely flying, getting a goal every single time he goes out on the pitch. And then he gets injured in a meaningless game against Midtjylland.
Yeah, I think, for me, there were 3 pivotal moments in our season that stand out to me. I think the first one was not buying a centre-back in the summer. The second one was playing Jota in that Midtjylland game. That was pointless. I still stand by it. Unless there was a genuine reason, I don't know, Champions League bonus in his contract, they had to play in the game or something that we are unaware of. There was no reason to play him in that game because he was in electric form. He was scoring goals, and then that killed us. Him being out, what was it, for 6 weeks? Rough around that, 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah,
that killed us for a big point. I think the games we dropped points in, like the Newcastle game, we drew 0-0. The Southampton game, if Jota was there, we win those games. So I think that's a big thing. And then obviously the other one for me was, not trusting. Phillips and Williams, continue to play Fabinho, Henderson at centre back for a period. That was the kind of pivotal again. But going back to your point, I thought, that just frustrated me, the Jota injury, because I didn't understand at the time. Obviously, Mane wasn't really scoring that much. Then Bobby was struggling. Salah was scoring, but it was an over reliance on Salah to score. And it was Jota that was winning us games, and that's frustrating.
Well, homie, just look at. Can you guys see this? What I'm sharing right now?
Yeah.
So here, this is when Jota went down with his injury. Right here, December 9th. We're still in first place in the league, but look what happens after that. We tie Fulham 1-1. We beat Spurs, but I think was that when fans were allowed in the stand.
That was the one game we had fans in the stands.
Yeah. So we beat Spurs, we killed Palace, but then we tie West Brom, we tie Newcastle, then we lose to Southampton. I think that's right there is when we lost first place to City. And we beat Aston Villa in the FA Cup. Sure, that's great. Then we tie United, we lose to Burnley, and then again, we beat Tottenham again, we beat West Brom, but and then we lose to City, we lose to Brighton, we lose to Leicester. So Jota's injury, I think, is definitely one of. I think you're right. It's either top 2 or top 3 reasons why we went out. Yeah. I mean, he had what, 9 goals, I think, Wahomie, at that point.
Yeah, he was electric because he played really well against Wolves game when we beat Wolves 3-0. He was electric against Leicester. Those that was the times when you thought like before it was like we were only good if Salah, Mane, and Bobby will play together. But in those games, I think we beat Leicester without Salah even being there. And I think that's one of the first few times where we actually had won where Salah's not there. So far I think we obviously beat Villa last year, but normally we needed Salah, but we won there without him. And we showed, obviously in different games where we can win now without one of the top three main ones being there. We can still win a game. One's out. So that's what the one big thing showed this year. But yeah, that injury was a massive blow. And I still to this day don't understand why he was in that game. Why we didn't put out a weakened team out. The game was pointless, meant nothing. We qualified for the next round. Yeah. So unless there's something in his contract that says to me that he has to play that game, obviously that there might be previous information that we don't know. I don't understand it. So
I'm with that one, man.
So yeah, that was my frustration with that.
Well, I know Andrew agrees with you on that, Dave. I want to get your opinion. Do you agree with Homie that was a meaningless game? Because, obviously hindsight, he probably shouldn't have played. But also, it's like he was at the time he was our fourth string forward. I feel like those are the games that he was supposed to be playing. Obviously he was flying, and we probably shouldn't have played them. But what were your thoughts on that, Majila?
Yeah, well, hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? I mean, we all know that, obviously. But I don't know. I don't think he was even. I can't say it because it's like a time traveler. I just say something happens, go back and change it. It's happened. You got to get on with it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's already done. I'm not going to go back on something that was already done. Should he have played? Should he have started? Probably. I don't know. I can't go back on stuff that's already done. Jota was huge for us, the loss, but I think those 6 home games, those 6 losses that we lost in a row, we hadn't been beaten at home for nearly 4 bloody years, and then we just couldn't win at home. I mean, that killed us all together. But Jota, I think, would have turned a lot of those close games around, those draws, those 1-1s, 0-0s, would have definitely got us wins there, I think, in those games. Because we no one else. Salah was doing it, as what Homie said, but Mane and Bobby just weren't doing it. And Jota was someone, even to have him on the bench, you always thought he did against Sheffield United. He came on and scored 2. Do you remember? I mean, He was always someone that was going to come on. I think he was even more effective from the bench. He was like the old school Dave Fairclough back in the 70s and 80s for Liverpool, where he could super sub and come off the bench and was always guaranteed a goal because he's lively, gets in the right positions. Right. So I was actually thinking Jota was better from the bench last 2025. But he was playing so bloody well, and the other boys, Mane and Bobby, were so shite that he had to start. That was the problem. But I don't like hindsight things because, I mean, it's useless.
But even at the time, Wahomie and I were pretty pissed off about it. We were pretty upset that he was starting. Remember that, Wahomie?
Yeah. But, we got criticized.
We got really criticized. But let's get to the chat real quick. Chris Welch came out and said apparently Klopp wanted to finish top of the group to get that extra money. But I said I don't care. We should already qualify and play the kids. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how Wahomie and I felt. At that point, it was almost like a Carabao Cup match in Midgetland. Who the hell cares about the result? Helen just said the 6 defeats in a row killed us off for the title, but we came steaming back and pushed Leicester out. Yeah, that was quite the push. And hey, Brendan bottled it. He won a trophy, which good to him, but he bottled it in the end. Could have ended up kicking out Chelsea, but I guess they did win today though. So Eamon said that losing 6 games in a row was top 4 gone for me at the time, but Klopp is a miracle worker. So I gotta say something about this. Well, homie, do you remember saying that we're officially out? And I think we were all super negative, and at the end of the show, I was just like, we can do it. We can do it. Be positive. We can be positive, and look what the hell happened, man. We ended up getting 3rd.
Yes, I think that's after the Newcastle game. Me and Stephen were like, were you depressed? And you were positive? And we were like, why are you positive for? Like, yeah, because it was so frustrating. Like, those 2 games against Leeds and Newcastle, the fact that we were winning positions, we missed a few chances, poor finishing again from like Bobby and Mane or even Salah in some of those games, and then we conceded such a poor goal against Newcastle, like a simple set piece goal. I can't remember the Leeds one, but it felt like the old Liverpool before when Klopp first started, we would concede sloppy goals in the last 5 or 10 minutes. We can't see out a game, and that's what was frustrating because it's like if we had won those 2 games, we'd be sitting here. We could have been sat here saying, "Look, we're second. We finished second above United." You know,
I mean, it makes me think. It makes me think too. Like, what would have happened if he didn't play Jota in that Midtjylland game, and if he trusted like somebody like Phillips? Maybe we bring in Kabak again, and instead of playing Fabinho back there.
Guys, you should make a Back to the Future 6 film. That's what you should make.
I'm working on it.
Come on, like, if you would have done this back in 2062, I mean, if I would have done something before World War II, something might have happened. But I mean, like, it happened. It's history. That's it.
No, but I think, Dave, you make a good point. You made a good point. It's just, I think this was the fact that we finished third is remarkable. But
unbelievable.
What Klopp and the team learned this year, I think, will do wonders for us going forward. Because I think now he knows, like, okay, I can't play Fabinho and Henderson as center back. You have to have natural center backs in that position, regardless of who they are, what age they are. That's everything. What do you got there, Andrew?
Look at City the year before, though. That should have been testament that you never play a midfielder as a center back. Fernandinho is one of the in the country, and he ended up putting him into center back, and City lose the title by 18 points. Okay, like he should have taken that lesson and not put Fabinho. I was all in favor this season of putting Fabinho back there. Believe me, I did.
To be fair, Fabinho was actually quite good at centre half.
Oh, he was phenomenal.
He was unbelievable. I was thinking forward, going, "Geez, imagine him with Van Dijk."
Well, we missed him in the midfield, and look what happened when he started playing Thiago in the midfield. It's completely different. It's completely different.
Yeah,
we got dominating games in midfield when Fabinho wasn't there. There's no one tackling.
No, exactly. Mark just came and said, got to give Klopp credit. He realized Fabinho wasn't working at the back, trusted the kids, and it worked. Yeah, I completely give him credit. I mean, he ended up making the right decision, and we ended up in third place in a horrendous season. Somehow he eked it out. So he gets all the credit for sure.
Yeah, and it was crazy because the calendar turns over. Like you said, we were in first, and then our form just continues to absolutely suck. I think from January to March 8th, we dropped, I think we had a goal differential of -6.
Wow.
Man United knocked us out of the FA Cup. We got smoked by Leicester, smoked by City. Like, Alisson was making mistakes. Everton beat us at home.
Burnley ended our beating run. 68 games. So,
unbelievable.
And then really, like, Dave, I think, Dave, you really hit it home on this too earlier. Like, we in winning positions, and then we end up dropping points against Leeds and then Newcastle. Like, I know how you felt, Dave. Like, Andrew, what did you like? You know what I mean? Like, when that happened, I think I literally remember like making the YouTube post saying top 4 over.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I don't remember speaking to one Liverpool fan saying that we still had a chance at top 4.
Well, I'll tell you what I did, because you can check it. It's on YouTube. So I did the video straight after the Newcastle game, the 1-1, and the thumbnail was top 4 is gone.
Yeah.
But when I'm doing the video, I'm standing out on my deck here, and it's, you just never know with this team. In other words, it's gone. It should be gone, basically, but you just never know. And I did the same video when Barcelona beat us 3-0. I said, it looks like it's over, guys, but we're bringing them back to Anfield, and you just never know with this team. And was I right, baby?
Yeah.
On the button.
Well, I remember thinking back, like, during the season, even when we were in 5th and 6th, and it looked like it was out of our hands then, I just never had full confidence that the Chelseas, the Tottenhams, the West Hams, the Leicesters,
I
didn't think that they were ever going to not drop points. I didn't see them going on a major run. And, I mean, some of them did go on a run. I think Chelsea had a nice little run there. Then they ended up losing to Arsenal. Leicester ended up losing to Chelsea. It's just like all of these things. We beat West Ham. That was a massive, massive game as well. I think they were in 3rd or 4th at that point. Yeah. That was a massive win for us when we won, I think 3-0 or 3-1. But I just never had faith in those other teams actually like winning their games out and deserving those final 2 spots. So I always had faith, and there was one game I didn't have faith. There was one game I thought it was over. It might have been the one you guys were talking about, but
Newcastle. Newcastle.
It might have been Newcastle, but
well, it was so late. It was the last kick of the game, and that game was won. I know they had a chance just before that. It should have been a goal, and wasn't it? It was disallowed. But I just thought Liverpool. We had so many glimmers of hope. That 3-1 away to West Ham, then the 3-1 away to Spurs, or the other way around. Both tough away games. We won both of them comfortably. And I was going, we've turned the corner. But every time we turned the corner, we hit a bloody wall. There was a wall. And we just had to, we went back. And every time you hit, another good win, down. Another good win. It was up and down like this. And that's why I thought, I was looking at the fixtures and saying, we're going to have to win the last 5 here to have any chance of top 4. And the way our season has been like this, instead of just this, from this to this, was just, it was mathematical. It wasn't going to happen. The algorithms weren't there.
I honestly think another turning point besides Fabinho going into the midfield was Trent. I thought that Trent in the last 10, 15 games of the season, he really, he struggled. He had the injury, he had COVID. He got kicked out of the England squad. And once that happened, once he got kicked off the England squad, then he just turned it on. And I think he found his best form again after that. He was, in my opinion, the best right back in the league. That's when he started getting his assists again. He was switching the field with confidence. He was taking on players. His defense really improved. So I thought that Trent really showed that he was a man this year, in my opinion.
Yeah. Actually, he scored that winner against Villa in injury time.
Yeah.
That goal was 3 points. So
Yep.
you know what I mean? Bang.
And it's funny because the entire season, especially when I think it was right when we lost back-to-back to Newcastle, or we dropped points to West Brom and Newcastle back-to-back in December. I think for 3 straight weeks, I kept saying, I'm waiting for one person on this team to
stand up,
grab this team by the balls and just say, I will carry us. I'm going to get this done. And it just never seemed like it was happening. I think I even said numerous times, mentality monsters are gone. We don't have that anymore. But all of a sudden, March 9th rolls around. We have 10 games left in the season. And then we end up closing out the year. And in those last 10 games, the best team in the league over those 10 games, 26 points achieved. And again, like you said, Dave, it seemed like all of a sudden we were finding that form again. End of the game, we need a goal. Boom, Trent gets one. West Brom, boom, Alisson gets one. All of a sudden, everything just started to go our way. Everything the entire season, not once. VAR, injuries, anything that could go against us went against us. And all of a sudden, I think Salah made a post in February saying we're gonna go down fighting. We know it's not good enough. We're gonna battle until we can't battle anymore because we know we're better than this. And he fucking did it. It looked like we were watching a completely different Liverpool team over those last 10 games. It was absolutely crazy. Plus 15 goal differential, and then when Arsenal beat Chelsea, all of a sudden it was wait a minute, we still got a chance here.
Actually, that Arsenal-Chelsea game was a huge surprise. That was it. That was the turning point where I thought, hold on, guys, we actually have a chance here.
Yeah.
I know we had to do our own job, and we did. Every one of those last 5 games we won had something, unusual. The United game, we're 1-0 down at Old Trafford now. We rarely come back and beat them. To come back and win 4-2. We're 1-0 down against West Brom. We all know what happens. It's Titanic, it's Rocky, whatever you want. Alisson with the header, with his dad and all that type of thing going on. I mean, it's written in the stars. I think I said after the West Brom game with Alisson, it's written in the stars. It's written in the stars now. And I think that was the juggernaut, wasn't it? I did a video actually at Rocky, the Alisson header to Rocky.
Yeah, that's right.
And the ball just goes into there.
So good.
But you could have put Titanic and anything you wanted it to, because it was one of those goals, epic sort of intro. But then every game had everything to it, really, didn't it? Every game had something. Even the Burnley game. I was worried about the Burnley game, lads. I really was. I was saying we're like in a horse race here. We've only 1 or 2 little jumps left. We don't want to fall. I want to bring it to the Palace game, and it's a cup final. Don't fall at the Burnley hurdle. Don't fall. Because it's traditionally a tough place, and we won 3-0 there. They had a few chances and stuff like that. That's grand, but that 3 goals gave us the goal difference as well going into the last game. And Leicester were going, oh no, look at this. Not only is it just win, we have to win well. And the rest is history.
Yeah, and it's crazy too because everyone talks about that Man United game at Old Trafford. Believe me, that obviously was absolutely a massive game, but for me, it just because it got delayed to the next week, it just was teed up as the perfect trap game for Liverpool. Like, put all our effort into that Old Trafford game. You get that win, you have some belief, and then all of a sudden you just have those tricky games against West Brom and Newcastle that West Brom and Burnley, excuse me, that can again, Burnley, tough fixture, physical team, and then West Brom, we saw what they did to us earlier in the season. And again, when a team has nothing to play for, they can either be absolutely outstanding or a complete shit. You're not going to get one. It's one or the other, So I was shaking in my boots after we won that game because all Liverpool fans like, oh, we got this. I'm like, I know we scored 4 goals, but we're not clinical. This entire season we were not clinical.
How about the pricks at United? Not starting anybody against Leicester? Basically, give Leicester the win, and then they come full throttle against Liverpool.
Well, that was always listen. Here, let's be real, Andrew. If it was Liverpool, we're doing the same bloody thing. Come on, the fan base would not allow you. The fan base not going to allow you drop.
But we didn't do it. It was United.
It's not. Yeah, but you know what I mean, though. Exactly. It didn't matter in the end. United were absolutely shy. How they even finished second, I don't know. But just think about it. Oh, Ben Dover's is in the comments. Just be careful he doesn't hurt his back. The other thing is, but just the big thing for me, guys. I'm in dreamland here, Area 51. I just don't believe how we even got third. Am I in dream third? How the hell did we get third?
Yeah, it's still
it doesn't add up. It's mathematically impossible, actually. So I don't know how they're going to do it. Write a thesis on this next year in a university somewhere. How Liverpool got third in the Premier League from all the algorithms that went against them.
Well, homie, you've been quiet. What have you been thinking about over there?
Yeah, so just thinking that. I think that 4-2 victory against United was huge. I remember going to that game thinking, our record against Man United is shocking. We never won there under Klopp, and I was thinking can we? That was the big decider one. That was the Man United one, and then it was playing Fat Sam, West Brom. I felt those 2 games were going to be pivotal for us to get top 4. I thought if we can beat those 2 teams, we'll get top 4. Because I felt like we had a good record against Burnley, and Palace on the final day with fans will beat Palace. But that Man United game was. When we went 1-0 down, I was like, typical. I was so annoyed. I was thinking, typical. This is going to be one of those days where United just go on and beat us 2-3-0 or something as normally. For us to come back and win that 4-2 was huge. Obviously, we broke our hoodoo, Old Trafford hoodoo under Klopp. And then obviously, you knew Fat Sam would love nothing better than to derail us because he doesn't like Liverpool and hates Klopp. So beating him there and hearing him moaning about afterwards, that Liverpool got lucky or that rubbish he was saying afterwards, the Soliza.
To be fair, homie, we were lucky in that game. They got a goal. They got a goal just before we bloody scored, which I wouldn't have been happy if it was a Liverpool. I would have said, hold on for a second. You know what I mean? We got the look in that game. I know we deserved luck. We deserved luck because we got no look. We got no look all season, so we got the bit of look at the end, and that's nice.
It evened out for me. I think also as well, it was a. We think about over season. It was a hard season. Going out to the Madrid game, how we played away to Madrid was shocking. Our performance there in Spain. And then obviously at Anfield, you saw the frustrations there in terms of we should have been 2 or 3-0 up and gone through. The amount of chances we had, Salah, Mane, Bobby in that game, Ginny, and we should have won that game 3-4-0 at Anfield. And it was just frustrating again. Our issues then were not really the defense, was the attack. And you just think what could have been. Now we look at the final today. If we beat Madrid, could we beat City? Who knows? In Champions League, you never know. Then you're in the final. So it was just it's frustrating the fact that again, we've gone out to a Madrid team in the Champions League. So that was frustrating. That because there was that point. I think then we were thinking, okay, well let's win the Champions League because the league's gone. We're probably not going to get top 4. Let's go for the Champions League. So that was a bit frustrating. Obviously, that kind of wagon fell off. So yeah, I think as well we look at the season, like there's been so many ups and downs with certain players. Like Mane's been slagged hard by big fan base the whole season. And yes, I think someone showed stats that even in his poor season, he's still got like 10 assists or something, and he still scored like I think he needs to go over double figures in goals. So to say that that's his bad season for Mane, but still any other player would still love a season like that. Any other kind of winger, you still want a season.
He had 11 goals and 7 assists this season.
Yeah, his numbers were very similar to Marcus Rashford's.
Yeah, and Marcus Rashford was said to had a good season. So I think a lot of players would love a season that Mane had in terms of the numbers. But then obviously the final days, it's fitting for Mane to get the 2 goals to get his guaranteed third.
Yeah.
So or even like Bobby got criticised a lot this season. I have to admit, I was one of the people as well who called him Robert and said he wasn't Bobby anymore.
I remember that.
Yeah. So, but obviously he came up with some big goals in the United game. So like it was fitting for some of these players to then come back and actually prove to us, look, I'm still here. I still got it. Like they say, form is temporary, but class is permanent. The fact that they still got it. And obviously, So it was good to see these players, come through and get these performances for us. So it was a rocky season overall when you're thinking about some of the players who got criticised.
Yeah, I thought Iman brings a good point here. He said the fact that we finished third with our injury shows that we'll be super better next season with everyone back. Looking forward to it. Yeah, I think we're challenging for everything next season. 100%. We're definitely going to be back. Jeannie said Big Sam can F off. I completely agree with that one. Chris Welch saying that Alisson goal got us top 4 in the end. I mean, that's the goal. Goal of the season. That should be up for the Puskas Award. It definitely should be. I mean, a goalkeeper scoring that big important goal, that's unbelievable, especially after the year that he had. And then finally, I think there was one more I wanted to read. Maybe before we end in a little bit, guys, we can get to this one. Eamon said that we need to add 2 good players every season while we're on top. This season, 3, in my opinion. Well, homie, I think you actually spoke to this recently in a tweet saying that we got a center back and now we need another midfielder and a forward.
Striker. Yeah.
Yeah. What I think obviously, I think if you go back, like when we won the Champions League, I think we should have added. We only got like who's that? Seth Van Berg.
Yeah.
Van Berg, and we bought. I can't remember who else we brought in. That was a youngster, and it's like in that point we should have brought 2 players because obviously I think that
and sold Origi.
Yeah, I think that point.
There you go.
Put our squad back. Like I think we brought 2 players.
Harvey Elliott, I think. Was it Harvey Elliott 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You might be right.
Yeah. Harvey Elliott.
If we bought 2 players then, I think we'd be in a better position. So I think every year you need to add at least 2 players or 1 player that challenges the first team that improves that first 11. And if you don't sign anyone, it can then come back and hurt you big time. So, Sophie!
Hi!
She made it.
I was going to ask you guys a question. What was your favorite best team performance of the season?
Who are you asking?
Everyone. What was a game that stood out to you that said, look, as a team, we played our best football in the season?
The best game for me was Manchester United.
Yeah.
We went down. We never play well at Old Trafford. We went down 1-0, and this team all year they weren't mentality monsters until this game. From my point of view, they came back and won 4-2 at Old Trafford. After United didn't play any of their good players against Leicester, gave Leicester the points, saved their best players for us, and we wiped the floor with them. That was a big one for me.
No, couldn't agree more. Don't shush me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't come on my show and shush me.
Uh-oh.
Dave, you don't know what you're stirring up right now.
Do you know what? Hold on. Do you know what I was going to do today? I was going to make a little poster with shush written on it and go up like this. I'll have it next time.
Oh, there she is. She's dropping that right now.
Why did we get more control?
Did you miss me?
We did.
Going, no.
All right, guys, I gotta go. Sophie's here, so I'm out of here.
I was like, wait, did you actually leave? And I forgot. Yeah.
I just like removing Andrew from the stream. But yeah.
All right, well, to answer your homie's questions, Steven, what was your favorite game?
I want to say it's my favorite game, but I think the game that we played best in, not going to lie, I think it was the last game of the season against Palace. I thought complete performance from the first minute to the last minute. We played great. We saw the best of Thiago, best of Trent. Solid did everything but get the goal. Mane looked in form. I thought, again, like that just gave me so much hope for next season. Just like, wow, like this team right here, you plug in Konate, you plug in Van Dijk, you plug in Henderson. Who's going to beat this team? Who's going to beat this team next year? Like when we're healthy and we play like we did in that last game, it's going to be tough to beat us. And I thought we were, again, we were more clinical than we had been the entire season. I know we only scored 2 goals, but we had, we made the most of our opportunities that game. And yeah, for me, it was a great way to close out the season. And I just thought that was the best performance I saw all season.
For everyone in the chat, let us know your favorite game as well. Dave, what was your favorite game of the season?
Well, where's he go?
I swear, it wasn't me.
Keep your hands up like that. What was I going to say? The iconic moment was obviously Alisson Becker's header, but the United game. I mean, they would have loved to beat us to stop us getting top 4. Don't be wrong. That would have been like winning the cup final for them. You know what I mean? Yeah. And for us to go there 1-0 down with Phillips and Reece Williams centre half. Let's be real, guys. To go there needing to win. A draw's no good. To go 1-0 down and win 4-2. That's just beautiful. That has to be the game. But Alisson's header is the iconic moment for me. That's just wow.
Sophie, what do you think?
I wasn't listening. What
was your favorite game of the season?
Favorite game of the season? I have to agree with yours, Andrew. United. That was a game that I remember going into dreading it, and I remember saying at the start, I just can't wait for the final whistle to go, and the game hasn't even kicked off yet. It's still 12 hours to go, and I still couldn't wait for the final whistle to go. And the boys we never play well at Old Trafford, and we pulled that performance out, and it was a 6-goal thriller. It was a brilliant game, and it's one I'll remember for the season. Like the West Brom game was brilliant because of Alisson at the end, but I think the performance of the team itself wasn't necessarily the best. I think we showed a united front against the United. No pun intended. But yeah, United.
All right, well, homie, what was yours?
I think mine.
Negative, Nelly.
Mine was the 3-0 Leicester game when we beat Leicester 3-0 earlier in the season. I thought we played outstanding football. We actually played Leicester Park. They couldn't live with us, and it was a massive gulf again in class between us and Leicester. I think that was probably one of the best games for me. I thought then, at that point, we could still win the league in that game. So I thought that was an exceptional performance, in that game. And we did it without Salah, if I'm correct, as well. We won that game comfortably without him.
Yeah, Eamon in the chat said Chelsea away. I know it was a long time ago, but that's my game of the season. Yeah, I mean they went down. I think they went down a man right before halftime or right after halftime, and Thiago just picked them apart. That was just great to see. We all got to our mouths were watering when we saw Thiago in that game. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and I think kind of to get to my next point here, I want to talk about was, thank God for Mo Salah. Another great season, finishes second, 1 goal behind Kane, and obviously he was our player of the year. Shout out to Fabinho too. I thought Fabinho had a great season, but where the hell would we be without the Egyptian king?
Not top 4 anyway. Not in the top 4. Simple as fucking that. But no, Egyptian king, as you just called him there. What do you get? 30? Was it 31? 31 goals and 22 in the league. 1 behind Harry Kane, but it's not. It's not even that. It's Salah on the pitch, and what the other teams think of Salah and what they do to stop Salah that you don't see. In other words, You're the other manager looking at Salah in the starting lineup going, okay, what are we going to do with Salah? We're going to keep someone on him. We're going to watch him. Even if he doesn't do anything in the game, he still will, someone's going to have to watch him because they know how good he is. But his numbers are right through the bleeding roof in the last few years. I mean, he'll go down as one of the greatest Liverpool players in the modern era, of course, that I've ever seen play live. There's no doubt about it. Just look at his numbers, his assists, his goals. And to be honest, he misses chances. If he was to take even 70% of his chances, he'd have about 1,000 goals. You know what I mean? He just gets himself into the positions and makes a lot of goals himself. I mean, that goal he got against West Ham, that's a goal of the season for me, other than Alisson. Remember the one where the ball over the top, I think Shaqiri?
Oh, yeah.
The break, he controlled it out of the air. It was like a UAP, a UFO, UAP, whatever you want to call it, just came out. Unidentified aerial phenomenon, bang on the foot, into the corner. Beautiful.
I love it, Dave. I
love it, baby.
I think one thing I'd probably just say, obviously with Salah is the fact that, people often do this thing where they compare him to Mahrez every year. They say Mahrez is better than him. It's nonsense. And they disrespect Salah. They never put Salah as up there as one of the best players to ever play the Premiership. They'll try to discredit him and use the Chelsea stint as a stick to beat him with, even though when he was at Chelsea he was very young. And I think we have to just sit back and accept that we are watching one of the best players that ever played in the Premiership. The fact that season out he's producing these numbers, is phenomenal. He's only four goals off. Like even for the best African player for goals, I think Drogba was number one. I think he's only got 5 or 4 goals off Drogba. And he's done less a game. So I think we're witnessing a great. And when people just say sell Salah this summer, get rid of him for Mbappe,
bullshit.
I think
bullshit.
You don't know what you've got until it's gone. And
exactly.
People understand that Salah creates a lot of chances. The reason why he hasn't got more assists is because we don't finish our chances. But he creates a lot of chances that we just don't finish. And I think we are lucky to have a player like him at Liverpool.
Very lucky.
Trivia
to wrap this episode up.
Going at the right time.
I'm going to start with the first question. What is everybody's biggest fear?
Oh.
It could be heights. It could be the boogeyman. It could be, I don't know. It could be anything. Hey, let's start with you.
Who are you starting with, me?
Yeah.
What did you say? The biggest year?
Biggest year. Fear.
Oh, biggest fear. This is the biggest year. It's going to go when I got married, maybe. Oh, didn't know what he said. Biggest fear as well.
Biggest fear, same thing, yeah.
Oh, biggest fear. I hate rodents.
I'm telling your missus you just said that.
She's behind me. Did you hear that?
I'm going to write that on Molly's wine glass when at the bottom.
Biggest fear is I hate rodents, hate rats, hate mice, just don't like them. I don't mind spiders, don't mind insects, couldn't care less about anything else. Rats and mice, oh no, just don't like them.
Chris Welch saying Naby Keita staying fit.
That's not a fear. That's not a fear, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Steve, what do you think?
Honestly, I think my biggest fear is just like failure and being a failure growing up and the future and all that. Just not living up to my lofty expectations I have for myself.
There's always one.
Come on, Steve-O.
Sensible adult fear. Who's the dad of the group? Who's the dad of the group?
Well, if he's the dad,
with honor.
If you're the dad, I'm the bleeding granddad at this stage.
Yeah.
For fuck's sake.
My one is because I'm not a strong swimmer, so it's I've never swum in the ocean before or the sea, so it's going on a holiday then trying to swim in the ocean then drowning. So that's my fear.
That's a good one. Even though I just keep on the beach, so. Sophie, what's yours?
Spiders. I can't abide by them. I remember this one time when I was living I was a teenager, I was in my mum and dad's, and I was laying in bed. Next minute, I just saw this like thing go whoop, and I went, "Oh, what's that?" Looked down on the quilt, and I mean, we don't really get big spiders in England, but this spider was like fucking. It literally was so big. Even my dad, when he got it, went, "Fucking hell, that's massive!" And it the quilt up my leg. And I was like, I just screamed through the quilt and like I was in my bedroom. Like when we moved into our house, it was like the heat of summer, like it was really hot year, and all the spiders and all the bugs, like because a new home, it was a new build as well, so they all started coming in. It's like I'm going to set my new house on fire to get rid of these bugs. Everywhere I turn, there's a spider. Like I'll hoover it up and then throw the hoover because I think it's going to come off the pipe and grab me, and I don't like them. I hate them.
Yeah.
Where are you going?
Arachnophobia you have.
Yeah, mine's heights for sure. I'm petrified of heights. If I get too high up, I start and I get too close to it, and I get like shaky, and I just can't do it. It's awful.
You should have been all right. You should have been all right, Andrew. Well, Liverpool played this season. Where weren't we? Didn't get many heights this season, baby.
True.
You scared of flying, Andrew?
What's that?
You scared of flying?
No, I'm not. It's strange. I'm not afraid of flying at all. It's just if I'm outside and I'm up on a ledge or something like that, on a roof or up on a mountain and I'm on a ledge, it's just that's when I get really scared.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think Sophie, you have a few, right?
Yep. Would you rather lose your ability to speak or lose your ability to hear?
Oh, definitely hear. Oh my god, I would love to not hear anybody. You kidding me?
Speak.
Yeah. I know Chris Welch definitely agrees with me on that one. Yeah, I would love to not be able to just listen to all of these horrendous opinions sometimes. Not you guys, but everyone else.
Ooh, that's tough.
Well, I know what we're all thinking, because I know mine. I'd rather lose the ability to speak. Now that's big coming from me, considering I never shut the fuck up.
That's huge. That's huge.
I would rather that, because if you completely lose your ability to hear, like you can't.
Wasn't me. That was not.
That was not me either.
That was my homie. That was my homie.
It's if you lose the ability to hear, you can't have hearing aids, you can't have cochlear implants, none of that works. You're completely and utterly deaf. The world around you is silent. You can't hear anything. You can't hear anything dangerous. You can't hear people beeping around you. If there's a car coming, there's no periphery sound. It's empty. You can't hear people laughing. I'd rather be able to hear my children talking and laughing and joking and hear my mum's voice and Keith's voice rather than my own. Like, I'd rather hear those around me than speak. Plus, I can just do this.
Yeah, I think I would agree with Soph. I'd rather hear for sure. But if the question was if you'd rather hear or see, definitely see.
Oh.
Definitely see.
Yeah, I'd rather have my vision over my hearing.
Yeah.
I thought you said speak. It's see.
I'm already
speak or hear.
Yeah.
I said hear.
It has to be here, doesn't it? It has to be here. You gotta be able to hear it for dangers and everything. I know you gotta see them as well. But you're hearing, all your senses are joined up, by the way, anyway. So, I mean, like, it definitely probably give you super hearing if you couldn't see. A lot of people that are blind have very good hearing.
I'd be dumb.
I'd rather be dumb. Dumb and dumber. Dumb and dumber.
Yeah, mine's hearing as well.
Yeah, here, defo.
Okay.
Go.
All right, one more.
What is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, biggest pet peeve?
The one thing that people do that makes your entire body recoil, and you just go, you fucking. That one.
When I'm walking down the street and I'm behind like a group of people who are taking up the entire sidewalk and they're walking slow, I'm just like,
yeah,
drives me absolutely insane. It's like, okay, so you have to take up the entire thing and then just move like molasses. Like, what the fuck?
Molasses. Do you know what kills me? Somebody that has a cup of either tea or coffee or whatever they want in it, gets a cup, puts the tea or coffee in it, drinks it, leaves it on a table or a mantelpiece, instead of putting it in a bloody sink, and then goes in and gets another cup, puts more tea into it. They've made 2 or 3 cups. You could have it in the same cup and just clean the other cup. I mean, I might have ADHD or something, but it just kills me.
Oh, that's
Mine is when people talk to you with a mouthful of food and the food spilling all over the place. I'm like, don't talk to me now. Like, or at least chew your food. Like spilling all over the place. The food is disgusting.
Oh yeah. You can see our breakfast.
Oh God.
I don't know if you guys have this over in the UK or not, but when I'm driving over here in the States on the highway or in the I don't even know what the hell you guys call it over there. What do you call it?
Motorway.
The motorway?
Yeah.
It's your way or the highway. Anyway, go on.
All right, it's on the highway. So there's a passing lane all the way to the left. That's where everybody drives really fast because you can pass people. So I'm always in the left lane, and there's somebody going 60 miles per hour in an 80 mile per hour zone, and I have to pass them through the middle. It is such a pain in the ass. Get on the right side where all the other slow asses drive. That's where you should be. I hate it.
Love it.
That's such a good one.
Mine is slow drivers.
Yeah.
Whether I tweeted out the other day, I was like, I don't have road rage. People just can't fucking drive.
Yeah.
Why is it when you are in a rush to get somewhere that the person in front of you drives like Miss Daisy at 15 miles an hour and does this through the lane? Just get out my fucking way. Or when you're stopping and they're turning, the indicator turn off the road and they slow down about 65 miles beforehand and then they turn like this. Like, if you're a learner driver, I understand. But if you don't have L or P plates on your car, I'm going to be in your fucking bonnet going, move! or on the motorway, or the highway, when you're... So ours, we have the slow lane, we have the middle lane, which is for overtaking only, and then you have the fast lane at the end, at the back. So the two right lanes are overtaking lanes. Left one is for like your wagons, vehicles moving at 60 miles an hour, okay? I'm never in the 60 mile an hour lane because I don't want to be on a wagon because, again, brings me back to move! So you can't, it's illegal in the UK to drive in the middle lane because it's an overtaking lane. You have to either drive in the slow lane or fast lane.
Fast lane.
They're all 70 miles an hour. We say slow lane, fast lane, but they're all 70 miles an hour, but that one's used for 60. And when you're in the fast lane, someone comes up behind you, up your ass. You're doing 70 miles an hour, probably about 80 miles an hour. So you're already doing over the mileage. Someone comes up behind your ass, pushes you out lane, so you move into the middle lane. They then speed off in front of you and then cut into the middle lane in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you push me out the way when there was no one in that lane next to me? Why didn't you just move into the left, move off, and then move into the slow lane and go off the slip road? Why did you feel the need to push me out the lane? What harm was I doing there?
That's road rage. Road rage, Sophie.
No, people
road
can't drive.
Road rage.
Drives me insane. Hater.
Well, I think that's a good one to wrap up on. That was passionate, and I love that. But
I love the fact that you road rage.
That was good.
Did Wahomie say anything? Did you, Wahomie? You're just sitting there.
People talking with the mouth.
Yeah, people talking with food in the mouth.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, that is bad. That is bad, I have to say.
So
next time we're on a stream, I'm going to sit here with like a mouthful of like, just to piss
exactly.
myself.
I love that guy. He must be taking pills in Ibiza with that bleeding comment.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Hey, we appreciate the view, man. Thanks for tossing us a view. We appreciate that. So
yeah.
Go ahead and like the video while you're at it too. But otherwise, no, I think this is a good place to wrap up the season review show. This was awesome. Up and down season. In the end, we finished third, got the job kind of done based off of everything, but we're going to come back stronger. Champions League, Premier League, watch out. We're coming for all of it. Everyone in the chat, we appreciate you all. If you haven't yet, hit that like and subscribe button. Big shows coming up this summer. James Pierce coming around the corner for a transfer episode. But Dave, as always, thank you for joining us. If you guys haven't yet, check out Dave's channel as well. But Dave, thanks for coming on again. You're the man, and looking forward to doing some more stuff with you this summer.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime, boys and girls. Absolutely anytime. I see the Mighty Reds television is in. Dan is a great guy as well.
Dan's the man. We love you, Dan.
Cheers.
All right, guys.
All right,
Appreciate you all. Hit that like and subscribe button. We'll be back soon. Take care, everybody.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Reds.